iFactor Consulting's Web Maps connector provides support for various OpenStreetMap uh, data sources, and this video is will give a brief demonstration of how we interact with that. If you're not familiar with OpenStreetMap, OpenStreetMap.org is a worldwide database. It's a map. It's like a wiki-style map. There are currently 300,000 plus users registered that contribute to the map. Anyone can contribute, anyone can make use of it. One of the ways the data gets disseminated is via tiles, pre-rendered tiles, and that's how Web Maps Connector makes use of it. We have 3 rendering modes, actually 4 that I'll show, that make use of that. So the primary one is this Mapnik rendering mode. So again, this is in the Cambridge area, but we do client-side caching, so subsequent requests are not sent over the internet. So that's Mapnik. Turn on Osmo Render. It's slightly different style, and then there's also a Cycle Map one. Basically, the data is free for anyone to render with their rendering engines and style the way they want to. So these are some of the more prominent ones, but there's dozens of different styling rules, probably even hundreds that you can make use of. So how do we make use of this? What can we do? Well, let us go to Augsburg, Bayern, Deutschland. So there we go, just west of Munich is the town of Augsburg, and you will notice that in most of Germany and most of the UK, the data is almost 100% complete, but I found some areas here where there weren't some buildings, and you want to add some buildings. So how do you add data? Well, you go to OpenStreetMap, or you bring up your favorite editor, Josam. Well, I put in some hooks. Here, my favorite editor is Josam there. So I put in some hooks that basically say, show the stuff in the bounding box in Josam, which is the Java OpenStreetMap editor. And that will, if you have the editor open, will bring in all the vector data. So you can actually go in now, and we can put in some buildings. So I'll draw in some buildings. I'll put the video on pause, and then here we go. So it's a building. The source is Bing. I don't know much more else about these buildings. At some point in the future, I will travel to this region actually, and we'll do a field survey. But I've got those 3 buildings. Now I can upload the changes, and it says, do you want to upload the changes, and say added buildings in Augsburg. So I'll upload that, and then you'll notice here, so I added the buildings here. So this is all data coming over the web, and right now the buildings aren't there. So I've uploaded the vector data. It's going to go to the OpenStreetMap database, and the renderer will pick it up in about 15 minutes, and we can re-render the tiles, and now the data will be there. So I'll pause the video. Actually, no, we won't pause the video. We'll show you something else here while we're waiting. We can also download some vector data. So we can say get the OSM data in the bounding box. So we'll say download that, and that will bring in a series of nodes and ways that are then selectable. If you go to the editor, you can have all the tags there. There's nothing fancy there, but what it lets you do is, even though we just have the raster data in the background, now that we have the vector data here, we can set up trails, we can set up offsets, we can do land-based conflation or shifting or warping based on vector data. There's a couple buttons here that will bring up OpenStreetMap, the editor in your web browser, so either for the OpenStreetMap editor or also the MapZen editor that's produced by CloudMate. I guess we'll have to go to video 2. See you soon.